Well, hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. Today we are up at camp. It's the 4th of July weekend, so we're just enjoying some time away from the farm up here at our off-grid camp in the eastern mountains of West Virginia. And yes, I am wearing shorts. That's not typical for me, but we're going to go kayaking. We went kayaking last night on the Greenbrier River. Enjoyed that. It's the first time the boys had been in the water with a kayak, so they were getting their experience there. Now we're going to go to a small lake and paddle around in there so they can have some less current to deal with. Greenbrier was moving a little swiftly last night, so we had to they had to learn by trial by fire type of thing, tossed right in the water. So, but also want to take this time to give an update. Got holes in it. Looks like it's been drop kicked a couple times. Hey Liam, open up the driver's door of my truck and get the my thermos, water thermos. They're live, I tell you, they're live. Okay, so we've got our back up at camp here. We've got our IBC tote that's going to be our vermicomposting toilet. We've got our red regulars that we ordered from the internet. Rehydrating those guys. They came shipped in a bag, so they were a little dried out. So we've just introduced those to some more peat moss, added some water, rehydrating. You can see they're wiggling quite a bit, so they're doing okay. Got our wood chips here. You can see the just because where we've had this out and uncovered, there's a little bit of moisture in the wood chips is what we want. We don't want it to be completely dry. Got a little bit of moisture there, which is good. I'm going to tear up, brought some just old cardboard, what I consider clean cardboard. This is cardboard from our pork production. So we have, it's cleaner. Doesn't have a lot of printing on it. We have this food contact type cardboard. So just the cleanest type we could come up with there. So we're going to put some of this in here because worms obviously love to eat cardboard. And we're going to mix all this up. I'm going to add some peat moss, mix all that up before we put our worms in. So it'd be kind of like a nice little stew, if you will, of food for the worms. I'm just tearing this up so it doesn't create a single layer that would actually shed water, shed moisture to the corners of the tank. We want it to be all kinds of different layers. Again, if I had a tumbler here, I'd tumble all this together with the wood chips and the peat moss. But we're going to go ahead and put it in there and use the shovel to stir it up. Oh, that is nice. Adding water to the tank here. Just wetting some of this peat moss a little bit. Again, we have not used this, so this is not there's no black water in this yet. So we've got the tank prepped. I've got the cardboard ripped up. I've got the peat moss in there. Again, don't have to add peat moss. It could just be wood chips, but I needed some for the worms, and at our home improvement store, you could only buy the huge bale of peat moss. So I had threw that in there. That helps speed things along. You can see here where my worms are hydrated. You can see they're all laying low. So they obviously like the dark. They don't want to be in the sun. So if I move some things back here, we can see that start to move, of course. So they're a little lazy right now. They've been in shipping for 4 days, so we'll get them to wake up here. Yeah, that one's so stiff, he looks like a stick. But we're going to go ahead and add them to the tank here. If you've been following our vermicomposting series, it was just 2 videos. We showed you how we're using vermicomposting for the toilet, and we were able to get a structure built. It's got a real flushing toilet, goes into an IBC tote full of wood chips. It now has our red wigglers in it that we ordered, and I'm going to put a link below where we ordered our red wigglers from, so you guys can reference that. But they're doing their deal. We've you put some scrap in there, put some cardboard, even some food scraps in there to kind of get them energized. And then of course we keep adding nutrient to the tank, and that takes care of that. So that's now functioning. We got our rain catchment in place. So we're catching water off the roof. That's a small 4x9 roof area. So it's catching water off of that, filling a 55-gallon tote that then gravity feeds down to fill the tank of the toilet. So we have a nice flushing toilet that makes it very accommodating to people that don't necessarily like to go to outhouses. Kick it to the string a little bit, fella. Kick it. Okay.
Safe thunder.
How are you on plumbing?
Wait a minute. Okay, good.
Kelly, you'll be ready to hand me my yellow drill. My drill.
Gracious, that ladder's vertical.
Yeah, it's out. I have Mom stand up so she hands me this. Whoa!
And these long screws? Long screws?
Yes. It's good if the beams were cut the same length or width.
Yeah.
Well, another thing we did is we put a roof on our deck, and of course the reason for that is just to have the shedding of water, but we also want to do rain catchment. We don't have our rain catchment in place yet, but you can see that's 12 by 21 surface area of metal roofing, so that's going to catch a lot of rainwater. We'll catch it off the back. I've got an IBC tote that I got to bring up, and we'll set and be able to catch that water as well. But it's nice to have some extra dry space here. I've had a lot of rain this year, as we had last year. So up here in the mountains, we got a lot as well. So it's good for rain catchment, but it's a little tough to stay dry. So it's nice to have that shelter there to allow us to put our tent up and not have to worry about any leaks or any downpours. So the construction of this is simple post and beam. And it's everything we've milled. So everything on there is milled, obviously, except the metal roof. But those are the 4x4s we did a couple videos ago. Some of the 2x4 rafter elements there, all of that was milled. It's a little crooked just because I got to get better at milling. Some of my stuff's got a little bit of a warp to it, but we use those crowns to our advantage, so everything is crowned up. So I'm just saying that we're taking advantage of Roman architecture building with arches. So, but it's not too bad. The corner bracing really shored it up well. You can see here we've got even got our redneck clothesline up. Oh, I just noticed I have my underwear hanging there. That's probably not good. Anyway, a really personal glimpse into Red Tool House here. But it's held up well. Dad and I set the posts. Just used some angle braces to get it established on our deck. You can see there just some basic braces, and of course tied everything in. Did a little bit of I wouldn't say timber frame, but did some lap joints here. You can see over here we did a small dado so that would fit in. Of course our bracing, so that dado helps hold. Of course the beam in there, some bracing elements, and then even in the back or here in the front, either side where we jointed, and this is where, again, milling better. You can see my step down size there. That's a problem with milling one day and coming back a week later and milling again. I milled the one on the right at 4x4, true 4x4. Then one on the left was 3x3 or 3.5 by 3.5. But so all in all, it looks like it's going to hold together pretty well, pretty sturdy. Of course, metal roofing's metal roofing. Definitely will shed water nicely.
Where is he? There he is. Don't move. Do that again, Troy.
Did you wonder why we stopped? Did you see why we stopped back there?
Yeah, that big owl.
Man, he was pretty.
He's a big one.
He was. He's gorgeous. Got it? Kelly and the boys are racing to see who's going to be the fastest. That's a dirty pool there, guys. Bunch of cheaters. They're racing. Liam, don't hit me. Collision on the high seas. So Liam won by cheating, huh? Cheating? You didn't stay in your lane. You almost sank your competition.
Ah! It's going the wrong way.